very first computer in the whole world was a Commodore 64. I'm showing my age, I know. And I, even to this day, still play something quite old-fashioned, which is called a MUD, which is multi-user dungeon or multi-user domains. And it's actually text-based gaming, so type in our commands, because I believe in using my imagination, not having everything painted for me when I play games. So my current role is the CEO and founder of Digital Jam, and that entails me essentially facilitating cross-industry collaboration. So we bring together the entertainment, technology and startup sectors, and we get people to talk to each other who wouldn't otherwise talk to each other. So for example, we bring the automotive industries and the defense industries together with the gaming industries so they can understand how they could use that technology. The first challenge is that you tend to not realise quite how limiting it can be being a woman or a woman of ethnicity when you work in an environment where there simply aren't that many of us. When it comes to the studios that I've worked with, I've been the first Asian woman in a senior management position. And when we're talking about senior management, that's a role and a position that requires a certain degree of respect and a certain degree of, trust from the rest of the studio. And if they haven't had that experience of trusting a woman to be able to make those calls, or trusting somebody who looks different to them to make those calls, sometimes it can be quite a challenge to have people follow where you lead if they don't necessarily believe in the reasons why you might be doing that or the approach you take to doing that. So I think that diversity in the games industry is crucial because we create products that absolutely permeate all aspects of culture. And when we see the behaviours of young children and mature, grown people, a lot of what they do reflects from the cultural impact of games or film or, whatever the other pop culture things are. And when these things are created without that spectrum of experience, that spectrum of views and thoughts and opinions from the people who make these things, you end up with something that is essentially articulated, in a very single note way. And that reflects on society, that reflects on the expectations of society and what they expect to see when they look at a computer game, and they only expect that they're only ever going to be able to play the male protagonist, or they only ever expect that, if there is a female protagonist, that she's only ever going to be Caucasian, or whatever that thing may be. It becomes a challenge to break that down when we see people in real life and we're trying to talk to people in real life, that those assumptions and those biases continue. So in terms of attracting people who are more diverse into this industry, be that gender, be that ethnicity, or even be that skill level and the quality of skills that they have, I think the first thing is it comes down to an awareness of the fact that actually the games industry and the creative industries are an option for them. When we look at STEM as a whole and why young girls don't get into STEM, it's because oftentimes they don't think it's an option for them. And that's very similar with the games industry, which is if you ask the average 14-year-old girl, do you want to be in the games industry or do you think this is something you can do? Most of them are going to think it's not something for them because that's the message that they've been hearing from culture and society, from their parents and from the media and from all these other people, that actually this is not an environment for girls, this is not a place where a young girl can be successful. And it requires them to be able to visibly see role models who are successful, who look like them, who are something that they can aspire to, and to be able to see more women in these environments, in these game studios, and not feel like it is a boy culture or a bro culture, that actually it's for anybody. So for anybody who's looking to join this industry, I think you have to find the thing that you love and just do that, and not worry about pleasing anybody else. And I think you have to remember that you already have all of the skills and all of the resources that you need to be able to get into this industry. So get out there, publish, make things happen, go to a hackathon or a game jam and create a product and ship it.